Tyler Graham wasn't your average weekend hunter. He'd grown up in the wild backwoods of Oregon, raised by a grandfather who taught him that silence wasn't just golden, it was survival. Over the years, Tyler had hunted everything from elk to bear, often alone, and always deep in the wilderness where GPS failed and radio signals died. His respect for nature ran deep, but so did his hunger for isolation. He didn't hunt for trophies. He hunted for peace and something else he could never quite name. This trip, however, felt different from the start. It wasn't the usual trails he loved, nor the familiar comfort of Pine Ridge or Hollow Creek. Tyler had heard whispers of a stretch of forest called Dead Man's Hollow, a place even veteran hunters avoided. Stories drifted through town like smoke, tales of vanishing hikers, strange lights, and sounds that mimicked human voices. Locals warned each other in hushed tones, but no one could ever offer proof. Tyler dismissed it all as superstition. After all, fear was just another kind of silence, and he wasn't afraid of silence. He packed light, a lever-action rifle, a hunting knife, 2 days' worth of jerky and water, and his grandfather's old compass, more reliable than any modern gadget. Before leaving, he scribbled a rough map of the area using scraps from an old forestry chart. At the edge of the trailhead, the trees looked darker, older. Their limbs stretched out like crooked arms, as if warning him not to enter. Tyler didn't hesitate. He pushed through, feeling the cold snap of wind against his neck, and disappeared into the trees. The first day was uneventful, almost disappointingly so. The forest was oddly quiet, no birdsong, no rustling underbrush. Even the squirrels seemed to be keeping their heads down. Tyler chalked it up to the cold front that had moved in, but something about the silence gnawed at him. It wasn't the peaceful kind he enjoyed. It was a heavy kind of silence, expectant, like the forest was holding its breath. By nightfall, he'd set up a small camp beside a dry riverbed and lit a fire. The flames crackled, but they didn't chase away the feeling that he wasn't entirely alone. Lying in his tent, Tyler stared up through the mesh, watching the stars barely twinkle between the tree branches. That's when he noticed something unsettling. In all his years in the wild, he'd learned to recognize the rhythm of the woods, the shift between night predators and morning birds, the distant howl of coyotes, the flutter of wings. But tonight, there was nothing. No movement, no sound. Just an unnatural stillness, like the forest itself was watching, waiting. And though Tyler wouldn't admit it, not even to himself, that night, he kept the rifle within arm's reach. Safety off. By morning, the air had turned colder than expected. Frost clung to the edges of Tyler's tent and coated the leaves like a thin layer of crystal.